Let's talk about Netflix's Cuties because we have to talk about Netflix's Cuties. This dropped roughly about 2 days ago and it's starting to pick up steam for all the wrong reasons, and I'm sure this wasn't the exact result Netflix's marketing department was expecting when they posted this. Coming September 9th, Amy, 11, I want you to focus on that, 11, becomes fascinated with a twerking dance crew. Hoping to join them, she starts to explore her femininity, defying her family's traditions. We're talking about an 11-year-old girl. Someone at Netflix thought that putting an 11-year-old girl and the word twerking in the same sentence and putting a positive spin on it is a good idea. Now, before we have a good look at this, I want you to think about this. This thing is already done. It's going to air soon. And it went through the entire process of creating a movie, from start to finish. Someone pitched this in front of people who agreed it's okay. Then someone had to arrange this thing, put it together. People were cast. The movie was shot. It was edited. And it was handed down to the marketing department. And somewhere along the line, 11-year-old girls were being auditioned for a movie where they twerk. I'll say it again. 11-year-old girls were auditioned for a movie where they twerk. Let that sink in. And during this entire process, nobody stopped to say, maybe that's not okay. Now let's move on to the trailer. And I won't play anything from this trailer because if I do, I've got a feeling that a certain agency is going to come busting my door down. But I am going to show you a screenshot from that trailer. They love you. See how many likes we have on a video of 11-year-old girls twerking. Netflix. Now, the reaction to the trailer on Netflix's verified 16+ million subscriber account gives me hope for humanity, honestly. And the reaction is about what you'd expect, with it having 6.9k likes and 57k dislikes as of the making of this video. Some time ago, some people said that certain things are a slippery slope. And a lot of people laughed and said, you're a bunch of bigots and you're worrying for nothing. Well, it seems like we're on a sled going down the slope with a freaking jet engine attached to the back of it. And again, whatever the intention behind this is not okay. There is a reason why children up to a certain age have legal guardians. There's a reason why children under a certain age cannot do certain things like vote, drink, drive a car, sign contracts, and so on. And again, these children were auditioned for this. And speaking of auditioning, take a look at this lovely picture. Cuties, 11-year-old Amy. 11-year-old Amy. And looking at this picture, this is Netflix's idea of what 11-year-old girls look like in Europe, or more specifically France. Now, if I had an active Netflix subscription, this is the moment where I cut it loose. Because I don't feel comfortable with my subscription money going into projects that fetishize children. But I've already terminated mine because I've had enough of Netflix's forced diversity and inclusivity and needless sexualization of characters. Ironically, the nail in the coffin was the Castlevania series where they made Alucard bisexual. And no, I don't have a problem with gay or bisexual characters. What I have a problem is the way that Netflix does these things. For those of you who don't know, Castlevania is one of the longest running game series ever. Its first installment was in 1986. It's been going on for over 30 years and it has around 30 titles in its roster. Symphony of the Night, a game that's been recognized as one of the best side-scrolling games ever made, is a part of that roster. Alucard is the main protagonist of that game, and nowhere in that game, or any other Castlevania game for that matter, did a pop-up window come out and say, hey, by the way, the protagonist swings both ways. And here are some of the games in that series and their creators. You may notice that some of the names appear on multiple games. Like I said, very long-running series. Now, here's the Netflix adaptation of Castlevania. And here are its creators, including its writer. These people have never had anything to do with any of the games, and yet these are the guys that decided what Alucard's sexuality is going to be. And it's not like this is a one-time thing with Netflix. They've been doing it across multiple shows for years now, with a notable example being the casting of Ciri, one of the main characters of The Witcher, a franchise based on medieval Europe, and Netflix wanted to cast a minority actor. And by the way, if Netflix decides to make a series based on a Japanese or an African folktale, I don't expect to see Tom Cruise running around either. And these people, who take characters they did not create, change their sexuality, gender, and skin color, for some twisted idea of seeming virtuous, inclusive, and diverse, call you bigots, phobes, and every other buzzword under the sun, if you so much as question any of it. These are the same people who had Gone with the Wind removed, who say it's a problematic movie that needs labels and trigger warnings. These people now bring you twerking 11-year-old girls. And somehow, that's fine. Well, no, it's not fine, and that's the reason I canceled my subscription. Not because of a gay character, but because of the blatant hypocrisy and double standards of these people. Gone with the Wind, problematic. Twerking 11-year-olds, just dandy. Amy 11 becomes fascinated with a twerking dance crew. What the